I have a thesis for you, my friend. I think the NHL has solved its all-star game problem with this, because you were even saying it to me. And I know you're not really a big international hockey fan like me, where I have USA hockey jerseys and you're just like, you're a Devils fan.
Yeah.
But you're like, you like hockey. The all-star game, everyone's just too afraid to get hurt. It's a meaningless exhibition. I have one memory of the NHL all-star game, and it's when Owen Nolan pointed, he called a shot against Dominic Hasek, and he scored, and like, that's it. That's all I can remember of the all-star game. I've watched a lot of NHL all-star games, and they're all just like, that happened. For the Four Nations Faceoff, they've kind of figured it out, where we can get maybe not like every single best player, but you can fill out a dream team for Canada, a dream team for the United States. You can get the best players from Sweden, and unfortunately for Finland, a lot of their defensemen got hurt, but you get the best Finnish players. You can assemble all of these guys, and since nationalism is kind of a big thing in hockey, you can get them all to actually care. Because the players actually want to go to the Olympics every time it happens. Then the NHL's like, no, you can't do that because you'll get hurt. And the owners don't want to see that happen. In this Four Nations Face-Off, I sent you a text after that, what was that, Canada-Sweden game? Mm-hmm. This is better than every All-Star game.
Yeah. And so I went to bed early that night. I'm not going to lie. I did not watch that game. But in the morning, I put the sports show on ESPN, like I always do, Sports Center, and Sidney Crosby killed it.
Yeah.
Now that's a 37-year-old player who, captain of Canada. His no-look pass in that first goal that was only a few minutes in was like insane. Like,
yeah,
wow,
no-look.
Wow.
I was actually even like when I saw that pass, I'm like, is he offside now? But like with the offside rule in hockey, it was like, oh, if I just get out of the zone real quick. No, that was incredible. I remember watching.
No. I'm sorry. You're thinking of that was the overtime goal.
Overtime goal.
No, I'm talking about the
Nathan McKinnon goal.
The first goal of the game. It was like 4 minutes, 2 minutes in. He had a turnaround behind the back, like no looker, like right in front of the goal. How the defenseman was already going down. It just squeaked right by him and boop right in.
If you blinked, you missed that play.
That was perfect hockey. Yeah. Like you can't script that.
But also at the same time, look at that power play unit. You have Nathan McKinnon, who scored the goal, and the assists are from Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid. You can really assemble some dream teams, and instead of it just being one of these, situations where they're like, all right, it's an all-star game, I don't care. It's a national pride thing. Like the United States is getting booed because they're playing a game in Montreal against Finland. And now I'm like, well, now we give a shit.
Yeah.
Now we really want to try. And that speaks to me because now, and it speaks to the players as well, because now they're throwing hits. Freaking
lots of hits. Yeah. I'm sorry to interrupt, but somebody just got hurt.
Shea Theodore.
Yeah.
I think I can't say for certain, but I think it was a wrist injury. But they pulled him.
So this is showing that the players they really are playing hard. They're giving a shit.
Yeah.
Which honestly is super cool because anytime you ever watch any kind of all-star or whatever, it's what are we doing here? This is great. Like, why am I even watching this? Most people don't because it's full of shit. We're watching the skills competitions instead of full on in your face, hitting you hard, scoring goals, whatever, and watching all the fun.
And the skills competitions have been the best part of all of those all-star games, like the home run derby, MLB all-star game, 3-point or slam dunk contest, depending on
always
the era.
Fun. Yeah.
And then the NHL skills competition was always better than the all-star game in general. So you had those things, but that was kind of like the only thing that the players actually cared about because it was like an individual thing. Like, oh, I went 4 for 4 in the shooting contest or whatever. In this, it's just a sense of like, oh, we can actually play for something, even if it doesn't necessarily matter.
I was just about to ask you, like, so with this Four Nation deal, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Except for the players that can't play, like Russia, or let's just say Ovechkin, and
all
also
the Russian players.
All the Russian players. You said Bobrovsky can't play, which is crazy to me. But anyway,
that would be such a good Russian team, by the way.
I'm assuming next year's Olympics is going to be fantastic.
Yeah,
considering
what I've been seeing, like the ban does go away for next year for the Olympics, Russia has a really good chance.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be them. Like, I don't want to jinx the United States because it's been a long, long time since the United States has won a gold medal in the Olympics. 1980, Miracle on Ice, and then they beat Finland in the gold medal game. Those two countries have the best goaltending. Canada's probably got the best forward core, but like probably the two most complete teams would be Russia and the United States.
Yeah.
So that would be so good, so interesting.
Well, so what is I guess what is it? Just like top pride for winning the Four Nations? Like it's probably a trophy, but it's just like we won.
Yeah,
we won.
Well, because I think a lot of the pride comes from like a lot of these countries develop their players. Like the United States has developmental programs, so they start you off when you were like a kid, like 14, 15 years old. And they develop you. You play in a program, and then you're playing against college hockey programs, like at like kind of a young age. Like
sorry to interrupt you, but I've actually seen the talent, some of the talent come up, and it's really freaking hard to get into anywhere close to the NHL.
Yeah.
When you think you know someone who's like really good, there's someone even better.
Yeah.
And it's so hard, but go on.
Yeah. Well, all these countries develop, like Canada has a developmental program. All these countries lean into developing their own talent. And so that kind of like, that's where you cut your teeth as a hockey player. It's like representing your country. And then like that sticks with you. And then all of these players like Canada, United States, Finland, Sweden, Russia, all that. There's international tournaments every single year. There's the men's world championship. And all of these guys, most of these guys have played in the World Junior Championship. I talked about that the last time we had one of these podcasts. They all
boy, do you love it.
What's that?
Boy, do you love it.
Oh, so much of this. I absolutely
Loves the hockey.
adore.
The hacky.
And all these players, whenever they do a collective bargaining, negotiation, they want to play in the Olympics. They want to rep their country. They want to do it because other than the Stanley Cup, a gold medal in the Olympics is the prize in hockey. And it's like one of the greatest moments in the history of sports in this country was when the United States beat the Soviet Union. That's like, it's a historical moment. It's not like a huge historical moment. Like you can't compare it to like JFK being assassinated, but it was a huge lift in a time where, this country was pretty low. So you can be in that scenario where you kind of lift up a program because the United States in 1980 lifted up a program that kind of fostered in the 1996 World Cup of Hockey USA team that beat Canada, and people really didn't expect that. And then that team kind of was the influence on kind of the state of USA hockey is right now. So you have a whole lot of influence on that. So everyone is really proud to be a part of their country and represent their country in hockey. And that's why they all like, no, fuck it. I don't care if I get hurt. I'm going to smash you into the boards in the Four Nations Faceoff. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't help your seeding in the Olympics. It's not like, it's just going to be like, yeah, all right. We didn't do a World Cup of Hockey since like 2016.
And the only thing that sucks about it is that your bosses are thinking like, this is really going to affect how you play for me. Like this isn't going to affect your paycheck, but I'm not going to be happy if you get hurt.
Yeah.
Guess what? Fuck you.
Yeah. At that point, it's kind of like that. The thing that everyone has to love about hockey. If you think nobody cares about hockey, watch it.
It's good. I mean, it's real good.
They have so much like. It's the antithesis of like everyone that complains about how. I'll just pick on the NBA. How it's just like load management. No one cares. This, that, and the other thing. Oh, it's an all-star game. No one cares. But the NHL or NHL players or hockey players just in general, if they can just freaking just put on the sweater, I'm like, oh, I'm wearing the USA colors, or I'm wearing, the shield of Finland, I'm wearing the leaf of Canada. They give so much of a fuck, and they just want to smash the other guy in just for the national pride.
That's legit love of the game.
Yeah, it's love of pride, but it's also a love of country, and that's awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
But my question to you is, one, do you think that this is the actual solution to the All-Star game problem?
So, it's a good question. I'm not sure. More so because like I said, you have a lot of other players that probably didn't play in this Four Nations thing, more so because they are worried about like not being able to win the Stanley Cup with their team.
Quinn Hughes can't play because he'd probably be the best player on USA in terms of being a defenseman, and he can't play because it's like, all right, he's a little banged up, and Vancouver wants to make a run.
That's so you got that. Which is upsetting because you always want, like, with something like this, the best of the best. But I understand everyone has their own decision on why can't they. Will they take this time off to like visit with family since they can't play, which is probably nice too because I think it's like 2 weeks or something, right?
Yeah, it's like 10 days.
Something.
Like
That's a nice chunk of change.
February 12th to the 22nd or something like that, where the break is.
But I don't know. I don't know if this is the solution. I feel. Do I want it to be the solution? Absolutely. If there was a way to get these players. Because I do like the skills competition. That is a hell of a lot of fun. The hardest shot, all the things, like a lot of fun. If they can figure out a way this, and I know that you were talking about a way how they can do this after the season, I believe is what you said.
I would do it. So the thesis that I threw out to you was, first of all, I think the NHL season is way too long, so I would reduce it down to 66 games. But I would also have the World Cup of Hockey every even year that you don't have an Olympic year. So Olympics happen next year. Mm-hmm. So I believe the Winter Olympics happen next year. I believe.
Yep.
And so you have the World Cup of Hockey in like 2028, something like that. And then you have these Four Nation Faceoff tournaments. You have that at every even odd year. So like 27, 29. That. So you always have the international games going on. I would also expand it to where it's not 4 because Russia has so many good players. So I wouldn't want them involved, and I wouldn't want the Czech Republic involved. They want to be called Czechia now, but I'm old, so it's always be the Czech Republic to me. You include those 6 nations, and you have a basic tournament there. And then you play it.
I just assume Yager will probably continue to play in one of those, right?
Or coach.
Yeah. No, he's going to be playing. You know that. He's going to buy the team, figure out how to get on it.
But you have, and also I'm a bigger fan of having the games happen before the NHL season because that's what I grew up watching. Like the 1996 World Cup of Hockey was happening in like I think late August, early September, and then it went right into kind of like training camp. And I think the last World Cup of Hockey did not like how they organized it, where they had like, well, if you're under 24, you'll be on the North America team. It's like, no, just give me basic nations. Don't give me this amalgam of, because if you lose access to like some of your best young players, like I think Austin Matthews and Connor McDavid had to play on that North American team. It's like, no, they should be on Team USA and Team Canada. Why are you losing those access to those players? Because they're too young? Screw that.
Yeah, but they're like the best.
Yeah. So I would have that happen before the season because I think that's because the only reason I think you shut down the NHL season is for the Olympics because it's just
that makes sense
when the Olympics happen.
Makes sense.
But shutting it down for these 10 days, it's essentially a bye week for everyone else.
Recouping family time.
Family time. But the one change, if you were like, as I said before, like 2027, 2029, you got to include Russia.
Yeah, absolutely.
As soon as you're like, all right, we're done fake punishing them for an invasion that their country did, but they didn't do because they're hockey players, you let them play. Because I think I already said, I don't know if I said this on the podcast or if I just said it to you, but Bobrovsky and Vasilevsky as the goaltenders would give the United States a run for its money in terms of being the best goaltending duo in an international tournament. So I absolutely think Russia deserves to play, and also the Czech Republic. I don't know if they could fill out an entire roster of players, but also at the same time, if you're like a prospect and you're about to like get drafted or something like that, throw the kids in.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, if Russia doesn't have enough players, get your top prospects in there because that's how you're supposed to do it anyway.
Yeah. Or you can
let them mingle in with the big boys and let's see what happens. Because then, guess what? That's how magic happens.
Yeah. Or you can just bring in a few guys that aren't on NHL rosters and give them a chance to shine. I personally love it. I think it is the solution because it gives everyone something to care about. Like I walked into a bar that we met up earlier today in this jersey, and people were like, "USA is going to do it." Would anybody give a shit if I walked in, if this wasn't happening, and I just showed up in a USA hockey jersey randomly? No, they were like, why is that guy in a hockey jersey?
Why is that guy wearing a Shoresy jersey?
Yeah.